for the second one.
We'll be back.
Oh, okay. Just wasn't in the chat what we were
No,
doing.
no.
Okay.
Okay, I'd like to call to order this special meeting of the Board of Education at 5:04 PM. Roll call.
Ms. Capabianca, Mr. Corey,
Here.
Mr. Ucalito,
Here.
Ms. Papiano, Ms. Hona here, Mr. Kisco, Mr. Manichia, Ms. Richardson,
Here.
Ms. Spino,
Here.
Ms. Toder, no Mayor Carbone, Mr. Aram,
Yeah.
Mr. Barlow, Ms. Ferguson,
Here.
Ms. Harold,
Here.
Ms. Klamazewski,
Here.
Ms. Labomsky,
Here.
Ms. Schulte.
Here.
Okay,
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All those
say
in
your
favor?
name, please. Who moved?
I did.
Molly moved, John second. All those in favor?
Aye,
Aye.
thank you.
Okay, discussion building committee. Did anyone have questions on what was handed out last week? It feels like a month ago, but last week, relative to what the building committee is and the detailed information Ed had pulled together. If people had a chance to look at that.
My only question would be on timeline, as far as when does the building committee start to look at implementing the information that was in the ed specs and putting that into the building? Like, because I know there's some things in there that we want to discuss some more.
Well, first, you approve the building committee, and then the building committee will meet to look at the ed specs. Okay, look at the drawings that we have. They have, but we won't get any more drawings until after the referendum is passed. We have to go out to hire an architect, a owner's rep, and a commissioning service. Once we get that, then we start on the drawings and so forth. And the board will have to, after the building committee approves it, the board approves the spec, looks at the drawings. We have to go to, the state is different now. They have certain timelines when we have to bring certain parts of the drawings to them to make sure they approve it before you would wait to the end and give them all at once. They don't want that anymore. They want to be involved in the beginning. So that's what happened. But nothing really, no drawings are really done till after the referendum and the architect is hired.
Okay, so there's a significant period of time there where we can continue to discuss and look
Correct.
at
Correct.
The
The
some of those
architect would be
ideas.
at the building committee meetings and so forth.
But I think, can I talk?
Go ahead.
I think what she's getting at is, because we talked about our last meeting or the meeting before, it's really not the building committee that's going to work with the superintendent and the staff to decide what goes into those rooms. The overall design of the building itself, the frame and the footprint, is what the building committee decides on. But in terms of how it functions,
Right.
I think that's what you're getting at.
Yeah.
Because I said the last meeting we had that I, as a board, as a committee member, I can't determine or make a
Right.
decision as to how those rooms get used, only how they function as classrooms. So
And that
how will that take place? Do you think?
well, also the building committee would look at all the furniture that has to be involved and get input from the people to find out, because we would have to bid the furniture and everything.
When you say the people, how,
We have the leadership committee, and so we would go back to that leadership committee. So we kind of, unfortunately, with COVID and everything, left them hanging. And so it was like, ... we'll get back to you. And so now it's just big conceptual, like you're saying,
Right.
the frame of the building and all of that. And then we go back to that other group so that we're really looking at the specifics.
Once they start drawing each room, so you can see it.
but the entire board will be able to see those,
Oh, as
that
well.
movement before
Yep, it's back
we
and
say,
forth
okay,
and
release
back
the
and forth.
contractor.
And those are all public meetings anyway.
Correct.
So
Right.
Yeah.
everybody will know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. And we're gonna have a website for everything going on there too. It's not, we bought the website already. That's who bought the website for us. It's like $20, you know, so. A big splurge. So once we get started, things will be on the website. Questions, answers, pictures, everything will be on the website.
We'll have it on our own website as well.
Well, it is our own website.
Right, it's a
but
link.
It's a link,
Yeah.
yes.
Any other questions about the structure or what the building committee actually does? Ed, do you have any questions?
No, I'm all set.
And Kathy and Ellen, you're all set?
All set.
So when formulating, this has been quite a process, but when formulating the building committee, there has to be a willingness from people to want to do possibly a 4-year commitment, which is probably the amount of time that the building committee is going to be in existence. And we really needed to target different aspects of the community to kind of bring this together and different areas of expertise. So after much ado, which would be probably an understatement, I think we've formed a solid building committee. So what it would look like is you'll have voting members of the building committee, which will be the decision makers, the ones that have the voting rights as far as what happens. And then you have ex officio members that don't have voting rights but can provide input. And then the co-chairs would have voting rights. So for this type of project, it's very common to have co-chairs just because of the enormity of the project. So for this committee, what we're recommending is that the co-chairs be Ed Aram and Mario Longabuco, and that the members of the committee, voting members, be Gary Ucalito, Armand, Kathy Toder, Donna Mattiello, Casey McKenna, Pat Finn, Greg Mealy, and Robin Lidversus, the principal. And we'll hand this out to everybody too, and the ex officio members, the non-voting members would be Mark Bushka from the Board of Finance, myself and John, because we have to kind of be abreast as board leadership, Sue Ferguson and Sue Lebonsky. Go ahead, Nikki.
Can you just go down the list?
Sure.
I don't know everybody on this list, so I'd love to hear
Yeah.
just why they're on the building committee or.
So Ed Aram, business manager, resident of Torrington, and done multiple projects like this before, so can kind of help lead the path of what needs to be done and when. Mario has served on multiple building committees. I don't know if you
The
want
chair
to.
and I'm the matzo ball and Mario is the meatball, so that's how we get along on the committee.
That's their official titles.
That's how. So I worked with Mario, we did the field together. That was our project. He's done other projects. And he is a former
What
builder
do you
also.
need? Which one?
The one that this is on, I guess.
This agenda?
Oh, that one.
There you go, because it has the committee members. in it.
And you know Gary,
Yeah, so Gary Armand and
Pizza.
Kathy
Free pizza.
from the board.
Yeah.
Donna Mattiello is a lawyer in town. They have 5 children, I believe.
5.
I think 5
5.
kids.
Her husband is I think Charlotte
Charlotte
Hungerford.
Hungerford Strategic.
But she's been very involved in the community for years since her kids were little.
Her father is Vic Michelle.
Vic Michelle, who's the
She
city
runs,
attorney.
she works at Nutmeg Park
No, she's a
She
dancer, great dancer.
International.
Also, she was our babysitter.
Yeah,
Yale graduate.
Yes.
and then Casey McKenna, if you want to give a little bit of his background.
Casey is Doc McKenna's son. Doc used to be the team doctor. His brother Jim was on the last, I think, the building committee with Toder. He's an I don't want to say ATT, but it was more a Snetco exec, and retired. Was willing to spend the time. got a big active family in town.
And then Pat Finn is an attorney also in town. 4 children, went through Torrington Public Schools, longstanding community member.
His father was a board chair of the Board of Ed.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Greg Mealy is on the public safety.
No, he's
I'm
chair,
planning and zoning.
I'm sorry,
he's
planning and
chairperson of
zoning.
planning and zoning. He's also a local business, Eastside Electric,
Yeah, he was elected.
Torrington boy.
Supportive of this project as it went through the process with this.
Yep, but can hopefully, kind of give us some guidance on that angle of it, just, to know what we should be looking for, things that we may not pick up. But clearly somebody with that kind of expertise will, and what will go through, what won't go through.
Yeah, his strength will be electrical, HVAC, and like I said, he's chair of planning and zoning. He knows how committees work. Very popular in town too.
And then Robin, of course, as the principal, should be a part of the building committee. And then Mark Bushka had volunteered to be on it, but because he's on Board of Finance, he can't be a voting member. But I did check with our legal counsel and they said he can be a non-voting member, just more of an input type of person. And I think it'll be helpful for us to have someone abreast of the project as it's moving to help communicate that information.
He's a local CPA too.
He always asks precise questions. about
Yes, he
it.
does. He doesn't talk much though.
But he asks those good questions.
No, he does.
And then obviously the superintendent and assistant superintendent would not be voting members, but we would need, the committee's gonna need their input. And John Barlow, actually, I apologize, John was left off this list, but our director of facilities would also be an ex officio to work with them. And then John and I will just be ex officio, no voting members, but we'll hope to bring the information from that back to the board in regular updates monthly so that this will become an agenda item. And some months we might not have anything to report, but we'll put it on as an agenda item so that the board is kept abreast of anything that's going on with that. Does anyone have any questions on building committee? Anyone? Ellen, Kathy, Ed, do you guys have any questions on the building committee?
No.
No, I think it's a great group.
Okay, marketing committee. The marketing committee is going to be a much more fluid committee than the building committee. The marketing committee is only going to run from now until the election, when the referendum question is asked. What we want to do, because of the timing of the summer and our staff at the high school and the middle school, what we want to do is have an informational meeting, and we'll work on the date with the existing members of the marketing committee. But I want to extend the invitation to the middle school and high school staff for any of them that may have interest in serving on the marketing committee, but give them an opportunity to Zoom in or attend the meeting so they can see what's going to be involved in the marketing committee and kind of an overview. There are 2 community members who have stepped forward and really want to be a part of this. One of them actually has already comprised this large plan of how we could sell this project, and they're very interested in it. And that's Michael Kompanek and Bob Denali. Both have a lot of marketing experience and different kinds of things and have worked on these kind of projects before. So I think for marketing, because there's going to be so many legs to marketing, that anyone from the community that kind of wants to help out with this project, we would clearly welcome them into this committee. So this is not going to be we vote on this committee and that's the end of it. We're hoping to get faculty members involved, parents of, any level, honestly, because elementary parents will benefit from this when their kids get up there. So this will kind of be much more fluid and not as stringent as the building committee. That makes sense? Any questions? Go ahead, John.
I have a pass-through question from the Republican Town Committee meeting last week about the money, and probably more related to marketing than the building committee, because there will be money for that. But where does the money come from for the marketing committee to operate?
That's through the PAC, so we do have to establish a PAC group.
Okay.
That
So
was
sometimes
the
that's
PAC last
PTOs or it's other people within the community. So you're right, we have to make sure that we do that as well.
Because there are specific laws that regulate
Correct.
where you get your money and how you spend it. And so this has all been accounted.
That was,
This is what I just wanted to get out. That this has all been accounted for. It's all known. How the
Right, and that's what we were
process is.
talking about, the many legs of this marketing committee, because that committee is going to kind of absorb and outline all the things that need to happen. And there, has been some feelers put out. But I think this overview marketing initial meeting will kind of go through all of these items that we need to consider.
that was in the architect's bullet points.
I know we've talked
The
about it
things-
before, but we're talking about actually getting the committees underway. And as I say, a pass-through question that we now have on record in this committee as well.
Well, I'm sorry. One of the biggest things I've seen happen, which is why I mentioned Fiona today, it's got to get marketing. It's really marketing that's the most important part of this right now. Two people that I talked about getting on the board, or on the committee, have said to me, one of them actually said, I can't vote for it because it's $160 million that Torrington can't afford. And of course, I said that's not the case, but it was a 20-minute discussion about why it wasn't. And he said, well, you need to let the public know. You need to tell the press that they can't keep putting $160 million in the paper when it's going to be $72 million. And I explained the three different costs. And one person said, well, I didn't realize that. And the other person is a very big family in Torrington, and she's retired. And she had heard the same thing. I can't go for $160 million. And I had said, well, you have $200 a year per household, or $200 or $300 or $400. I said, we're proposing the 200. And they said, well, that's not what we heard. In the papers, they keep saying it's $160 million. So the marketing committee does have a task ahead of them to change that perception, before they're convinced that we're lying to them, which we're not.
Go ahead, Nikki.
I know the schedule that we went through last week, I think, there were some dates on there about things that had to be done, and I think we're already probably past due on some of them.
That was the architect, I think, that had.
Yeah, the architect, yeah, I think
Yes.
you shared, Ed. So I think if we can circulate that
Right.
and figure out, I don't know if
I don't have it here, but
the team members that you were talking about, Michael or Bob, want to be the chair of them. I think the marketing committee should have a chair, and
Yeah,
so-
I figured
okay,
that at the first meeting, we'll see who's interested.
Okay,
Because we were hoping to do co-chairs on this committee also, one being a faculty member, because there's gonna be a lot of stuff that has to be gotten, put on the website, that's gonna need to be done at central office, not by someone not employed. Like, we can't give rights to the website, but Q&As and stuff are gonna have to constantly be updated. So we do have someone in mind here that's willing to co-chair it, so we just need to find someone that's willing to be the co-chair with that person. But we'll discuss all that at the first marketing meeting, to see who's interested in co-chairing that committee. Because it is, the co-chairs are gonna have the lion's share of the work.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna have to lead all of these probably subcommittees in their work and make sure that everybody's getting done what needs to be done. So it's not going to be light lifting for the co-chairs of that committee, because they're going to kind of have to oversee everything.
and it's the condensed timeline with everything else that's going on with
Exactly.
the reopening. So I think
Yep.
being mindful of whoever we're reaching out. I know you guys have been like working around the clock, every one of the members, in central office,
Right.
that how can we put this on someone here? How does that work?
right. If you find your package last month, is it in this group?
Yeah,
The
just last.
Castle booths.
Okay,
Right now, it's website draft by July 10th, so next deadline is August 3rd.
Right, so these were created before we were in the throes of the reopening plan. So everybody understands that we just have to readjust those dates.
Yeah.
And it is a crunch.
Yeah, no doubt that we have to readjust them, but the November date isn't changing, so.
Correct.
Right.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah.
mean? We are
So
up
it
against
is a
the hard
time
wall,
crunch.
yeah.
Absolutely.
You'll be setting up that first meeting, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll
Okay.
coordinate with
Yeah.
just everyone that's currently on it to see what, put out a couple dates and see what seems to work for everybody. And then we'll just have like an open discussion and then we can set like a timeline and see who else is interested in coming on board. And any questions from you guys?
Nope.
Ed, do you have any questions? I'm sorry, because I can't see you.
That's okay. Just to John's point, as far as like raising and spending money, do you want me to reach out to the State Elections Enforcement Commission and ask them exactly how, like, which type of organization that would have to be? Because, like, I know there are nonpartisan issue advocacy organizations, which that's what this would fall under. So like I can always reach out. They're pretty helpful about what exactly would have to be done. So at least we can set the groundwork for that. I'm happy to do that if that's what the board would like.
That'd be great, Ed. Any information you can get us would be fabulous. Thank you.
Okay, I'll reach out.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
No, this was the building and that's okay.
No other questions? All right, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the building committee as presented this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Can you say your name before you move in second, please?
John moved it and Molly seconded it.
Who moved it?
John,
Thank you.
Molly second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Nick, are you in favor? Yep. In favor. Motion carries. Okay. I'd like to entertain a motion to move forward with the marketing committee in the format discussed tonight.
So move.
So we're not, thank you, sorry. John second,
Gary first.
Gary first, Molly second.
Sorry.
The only discussion is that this will be a fluid committee, so we're not voting on the definitive. This is the only members, this is the current members, and we'll be adding members to that, just to make sure everybody understands that. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Comments for the good of the order? Yes. Gary? Molly? John? Armand? Nikki? Ellen?
Nope.
Kathy? Ed?
All good.
My only is I just want to thank the members of the community for stepping forward. The board greatly appreciates it. And future of Torrington will benefit. Thank you. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Gary.
Second, John.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.